Have you ever made a sampler quilt? I did, and I learned a lot. Hi, it's Hannah with Fabric Cafe, and welcome back to What Quilting Taught Me. This is a series where I show you a quilt that I've made and how I have done things differently or how I broke the rules. And I also share any mistakes or trouble that I ran into and how I solved them. Today, I'm gonna tell you how I made a sampler quilt. What is a sampler quilt? A sampler quilt is one that features unique quilt blocks rather than repeating a single design. Now let's start by checking out my quilt. This is my sampler quilt. I made 24 different blocks from a variety of patterns. And I took a lot of liberties when I made these blocks. I changed up fabric placement, and I often added more fabrics than the block called for. For example, here, this block is supposed to only have 3. I added a 4th, same with this one. And then if a block only had 2 fabrics in it, I usually added a 3rd. Just because I wanted a lot of different colors all over the quilt. Now, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about how I picked my blocks when we get to the table. After I made all my blocks, I laid them out on the floor and I decided where I wanted all of them to go to make sure the color was dispersed and my motifs, like the really strong motifs, were kind of spread out. I added a sashing between them all. Sashing is really helpful on a sampler like this. Since each block is different and has different fabrics, it needs that separation. The sashing helps set each block apart and makes it look more purposeful with all of these different prints and colors. Now, I used a fabric for my sashing that had multiple colors in it, and this also helped pull together all of the different colors in my blocks. Now, I had hoped to use the sashing fabric for my number 1 border too, to create a cohesive line all the way around the blocks, but I didn't have enough fabric. So I just selected a white fabric to give a simple resting place for your eyes, since there is so much going on in the center of the quilt. For my number 2 border, I used a black fabric that has lots of colors in it. Brought in all of the colors of my quilt, and I even used it in some of my blocks throughout. I really liked having this dark fabric on the end to give the quilt some grounding, since the center is so bright. And then to finish it all off, I used a simple blue texture for my binding. For my sampler quilt, I started by making just 1 block a month. I didn't worry about what fabrics I used and whether they all went together. I just made whatever block I felt like and whatever fabrics I thought would look best and be the most fun. This gave me a lot of freedom to just enjoy it and have fun. And I didn't have to make any big plans. I just got to play with fabric. And it was also a really great way to still be creative even if I didn't have a lot of time to be in my sewing room. When picking blocks for a sampler quilt, you want to make sure they are all the same finished size. So all of the blocks in my quilt are 9 inches finished. But if there is a block that you are interested in that is not quite big enough, all you have to do is add a border. For example, I used the block B from Sea Breeze, and it is only 8 inches finished. So I needed to add a border to make it the right size. And the easiest way to do this is to work with the finished block size and ignore the seam allowances until the end. To find the finished size of your block, look at your quilt diagram and see what the size of the block is. Remember, this measurement always includes your seam allowance. If the diagram says to make an 8.5 inch block like this one, then it's gonna finish at 8 inches when it is all sewn into the quilt because our seam allowance is 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch on this side, 1/4 inch on that side. We're going to subtract 8 inches from our 9 inches block to see how much bigger it needs to be. In this case, we have 1 inch. If we were just adding the border to the side and the top or bottom, we would just add our seam allowance and we could stop here. So that equals 1.5 inches. We have our block, and if we just wanted to frame it on 2 sides, no more math necessary. But if you want your border to go all the way around, then we need to divide our original number by 2 because the fabric is going to be split on all of the sides of our block. We're going to divide that by 2, which equals 1/2 inch. So that means we need a 1/2 inch border on all sides of the block to make it equal to our finished block size. We add a 1/2 inch for our seam allowance, which then equals 1. We're gonna add a 1-inch border on all sides of our block. Now, if it's easier for you to do the math with the seam allowance, that is totally fine. This is just a little bit easier for my brain. And I also have a little bit of a confession. My blocks tend to consistently come out a little bit smaller than the pattern calls for, and this is total user error. I think I'm making my seam allowances just a touch too big, but it's not a big difference. And that's okay, because all of my blocks are consistently like that, so they still work together, which is why I haven't investigated much to see what is happening. No one is going to know that I am a 1/4 inch short on my quilt when they look at it. But that being said, if you also have that issue, you may want to measure your specific block before determining border size, just to double check what you're working with. You can always square the block up after and trim a little if you make your border a smidge too big. Making one block at a time also came with some slight challenges though. Many of the blocks I wanted to make used strip assemblies in the construction, but since I was only making one, I didn't need to make a whole strip assembly. But there is actually a very easy way to work around this. If I needed to make a strip assembly, I would look at how wide my width of fabric strip was for it. Let's say that my width of fabric strip was 4.5 inches wide. I would cut a 4.5 inch wide strip first. I like to cut one whole width of fabric strip when I was making them and then cut off as many pieces as I needed. And I like to cut the biggest width of fabric strip I was gonna need and then trim it down for any other units I might need it for. And if I was sewing this into a strip assembly, remember that it would get turned sideways because we sew on the long edges for strip assembly, which means that with the fabric we just cut now becomes the height of our unit. So I keep it turned like this. I would look at my pattern diagram for that strip assembly and see how wide I was cutting the units from that. Let's say my unit was going to be 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to keep that strip sideways because that's the direction you'd be cutting it off your strip assembly. I would just start cutting my units at 1.5, and since this is the first cut, I start a little bit past that selvage end so that I can get a nice clean trim. And I do that every time I make my first cut. I could keep this doubled over if I wanted to, so that I could get multiple cuts at the same time if I needed, 2 or 3 or 4. You can see how I did this with my Amore block. I just cut out the pieces for my strip assembly, and then I sewed those together before I sewed the block. This might sound a little confusing at first, but once you actually try one with this method, I think it's gonna click. It will allow you to start thinking outside the box too, and start using pre-cuts and scraps in lots of new ways. If you don't wanna worry about this and you would like some easy blocks to make on their own, then check out our book, Make It Scrappy with 3-Yard Quilts. All of the patterns in this book are written without strip assemblies to make them easy to substitute scraps into your quilts. They are very easy blocks to use in a sampler quilt. At the end of the year, when I went to assemble my quilt, I pulled a handout from our website called Block Swap Sampler. You can find this under our free goodies section at fabriccafe.com. This handout uses 9-inch finished blocks, all from different patterns just like mine. It also gives you the measurements for sashing strips, borders, and binding, and how many strips you need from each, which I love. I encountered a problem when I got to this step. This quilt had 24 blocks. I only made one a month, so I only had 12 blocks. So I had to make a decision. Was I okay just using the 12 that I had and making it smaller, more like a wall hanging? Or did I want to go ahead and make 12 more to kind of replicate the quilt from this handout? And ultimately, I decided that I wanted to make 12 more blocks so that it would be a good lap-sized quilt. Doing a sampler quilt is a great way to test out some different patterns that you might be interested in. I found a lot of different patterns that I didn't really have on my radar, but I had so much fun making the blocks that I have now added them to the list of quilts I want to make. First up is Heritage. This is a 1-block quilt. So since I enjoyed making this 1-block quilt, I know I will enjoy making the whole thing because I'm making that one over and over. First, we start with a strip assembly. 3 different fabrics sewn on the long edges, just with various sizes. You're going to cut a unit off of it. We actually make 4 different strip assemblies in this pattern and cut our units off. So we'll have 2 of these, and they're gonna go on both sides of our block. One just gets rotated. We're gonna have 2 units cut from another strip assembly, and you can see it's just 2 strips this time. One gets turned this way, and then one stays that way. And then right in the center here, this is the part that was my favorite to make. We have 2 different strip assemblies. We have one that has a long strip of our fabric 3, and then a shorter one of fabric 2. And then we have one where the fabric 2 is in the middle of fabric 3 on both sides. This gets sewn together kind of like a 9 patch, just a little bit less because we only have 2 in this strip instead of 3. Same thing here about rotation. We have one here, gets rotated. And this makes that little steppy up there, which I think is super fun and cute. And I still have seam allowances on this, so they don't match up quite right because, you know, that gets put into the block. So these are not quite the same size. And I love this little knot in the center. It's such basic piecing, but it creates such a big impact. So it makes it look like you really did something hard. Now, if you are interested in making this quilt, we do have some fabric available that looks great in it. We put a batik in it for our center fabric, and we used something that had lots of different colors. And I thought this kind of reflected all of the different colors that I used in my sampler quilt. And then it's paired with 2 teals. So we have a very light one, and then we have a much darker one so that it has enough contrast and you can really see those little steps and how they come together to make this big quilt. Now, I do want to warn you, you need to use tossed fabric for this because your one block gets turned all sorts of different directions to be able to come together and make that bigger motif. Now, the kit info on this is Rainbow Bouquet, and it's the heritage pattern from One Block 3-Yard Quilts. Next, I wanted to look at Interlock. Now, this quilt comes from our Make It Modern with 3-Yard Quilts book. There are 2 different blocks in this quilt, but they are made very similarly. So let me show you. Now, the one I made for my quilt was block A. And we start off strip assembly unit like we did for our last one. We have another one, and then they go together like this. So we have this nice little kind of diagonal with a little corner. Then we just sew a strip onto the bottom, and these would be long with the fabric strips that you just trim off. And then we sew one onto the side. Now this is gonna become the bottom corner of our block and show you the other half. So you start off with another strip assembly unit. We're gonna sew a strip onto the side, and this becomes the top of our block. So this is 1/2 of your block. You make that exact same unit again, and it just gets rotated. So here it is matching this. It just gets rotated and sewn here. Our red meets up. We have this nice corner in the middle, and we have these great peekaboos of our fabric number 3 on the corner. I think that was my favorite thing from this block. I just thought it was really fun. Now our block B is made almost exactly the same, just slightly different color placements and slightly different rotation. We have one finished half of the block. You can see it looks like this, but it's turned differently because this is gonna be the top of our corner. We have the other half, which is with the number 2 in the center and our focus on the sides, while this one had the focus in the center and the number 2 on the sides. You make that exact same unit, rotate it, and sew it together. We have that same connection and those little peekaboos on the corner. Now in this pattern, these blocks, these corners, actually come together to create a square, but in my sampler, they really stand out by themselves. I enjoyed making this block because it had a good balance of piecing and then just simple sewing strips onto the side of the block. So it keeps you interested, but also simple. Let's look at some fabric for it. We went with hummingbirds, and I love this fabric combination. We paired this really rich plum with these hummingbirds. Is not normally a combination I see, but our hummingbirds have these flowers on them that are this rich, deep plum color. And I like how dynamic it is. It makes this sweet, soft fabric really bold. And we used a white for our number 2, and I think that was really important because this allows you to see all of the piecing, all of those interlocking lines and squares, and it gives it that really neat 3D effect for the quilt. Now this kit is called Humming Along, using the interlock pattern from Make It Modern with 3-Yard Quilts. I wanted to share some really special photos of your sampler quilts. 3 of our wonderful quilters had a family quilt along, and Dolores, Desiree, and Linda all made their own sampler quilts. These turned out absolutely fantastic. I love how different they all are. You had the same concept, but you all did your own blocks, what you wanted, and in your own colorways. They're so different from each other. I love that. They're so dynamic, and I think it really shows each quilter's personality. And I love that you're putting yourself in that quilt. This was the first quilt along, family quilt along that they did. And so if you guys do another one, send us your pictures. This is such a fun activity. I think it's a great idea. Now, if you would like a chance to have one of your quilts featured, then send pictures to quiltstars@fabriccafe.com. Sampler quilts are a lot of fun, but they also work really well for using up your fabric scraps. If you have a bunch of practice blocks that you've made before jumping into a pattern, these also are perfect for a sampler quilt. It's a very fun way to exercise creativity without committing to a big project. So if you don't have a lot of time, this works out really great. Now, if you would like to see some other ways that I have changed up patterns, then be sure to watch the video that pops up next. Happy quilting!